Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be working on adding and subtracting fractions. Now, I know this is the first time, or it might be a review for you, that you've been doing this, so I'm going to start with the introduction of when we have a common denominator. So, let's start with this. Let's everyone take out your worksheets that we have, and we're going to start that together. Problem number 1 gives us 1/7 and 4/7. Well, I have a question. If I have 1 apple and 3 apples, how many apples do I have? I have 4 apples. This is the same situation. Here, I have 1/7, and here I have 4/7. So what do I have? I have 5/7. You're saying how many parts you have. For example, if I have 1/4 and then I have 2/4, what do I have? 3/4, okay? So my denominators don't change when I add part of my fractions. I only change my numerator. What I do is 1 plus 4 over 7, which is 5/7. Let's try the next one. Problem number 2. Problem number 2 gives us 9/11 minus 3/11. So I have 9/11 and I'm taking away 3/11. What will I have? It's the same thing. 9 minus 3 over 11 gives me 6/11. Part of the direction said to reduce when possible, so I'm going to look at these numbers. Is there any number that can divide both into 5 and 7 other than 1? No. How about these? No. In fact, we know that because 11 is a prime number, so it can only be divisible by 1 or itself. So, let's try the next problem. 3. 7 over 12 minus 1 over 4. Well, let's do our subtraction. 7 minus 1 over, wait, what about my denominators? They're not the same, so I can't just carry it over. Do you guys remember in our last lesson how we talked about finding a common denominator and how we do that? We have to find the least common denominator in this case. So, what number can I multiply by 4 to make it 12? Or we can look at our multiples. 12 times 1 is 12. 4 goes into 12 perfectly. So that would be 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. So we know we need to multiply by 3 on the top and the bottom, and that would give us a common denominator. It's not just for comparing fractions, but we need it also to add and subtract. So we have 7 over 12 minus 3 over 12. And that gives me 7 minus 3, which is 4 over 12. Now, do you remember how we talked about reducing just now? Is there a number that divides into both 4 and 12? That's right, 4 goes into both. But if you said 2, you wouldn't be wrong. But you would just have to reduce further later. So let's divide by 4, divide it by 4, and I have 1/3. And that is my simplified fraction, or my reduced fraction. When somebody says reduced, they want you to go as small as possible. Same thing with simplified. It means you're going all the way to the most simple form you can. Let's do one more, and then I'll clean the board. Number 4. Number 4 says 1/5 plus 2/3. Well, what's my least common denominator here? Well, let's do 5 and 3. 3 doesn't go into 5. So let's try this. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Does 3 go into 10? No. 5 times 3 is 15. Does 3 go into 15? Yes, it does. 5 times. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So my least common denominator here is 15. So we know both denominators are going to be 15. We multiply 5 times 3 to make 15, and whatever I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator. And we have to multiply 3 times 5, and again, whatever I do to my denominator, I must do to my numerator. And we add 3 plus 10 is 13, and the denominator stays to be 15. And that's why we need the common denominator, because, well, how would I know what to put on the bottom if I'm not changing the denominators? So let's erase and keep going. Number 5. 13 fifteenths minus 2 fifths. Now, we already know last time that 5 can become 15 by multiplying it by 3. And that's fine. You don't have to show the other step on the side if you can turn it into the other denominator. So, whatever we do to the denominator, we do to the numerator. And now let's rewrite this. 13 minus 6 over 15 over 15. And 13 minus 6 is 7 over 15. Okay, last problem for this unit, number 6. 11 over 12 minus 2 over 3. Well, what do I notice here? I can turn 3 into 12 by multiplying it by 4. So I'm going to multiply by 4, multiply by 4, which then gives me 11 over 12 minus 8 over 12, which when I subtract 11 minus 8, I get 3 over 12. Now, if you left your answer here, your answer's right, but not completely right, because we need to reduce. I can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 3, so you have to. And we get 1/4. So, that's it for today. Now, what you notice is all of these numbers ended up being numbers that were less than a whole. A whole means 15 over 15, or 5 over 5, or 4 over 4. So all of them turned out less. The next unit we're going to do is going to involve regrouping, or using numbers that are larger than a whole. We're going to work with mixed numbers, improper fractions. It's going to be so much fun. I look forward to seeing you then. Bye.